Who is this man? You don't know, but I do. And I'm not going to tell you in this video. But I'm going to give you the hints to how I found out who he is, what it relates to, what the chapter he's in relates to, and how all this came about. This is going to be a very quick tickler, and the next video, which is probably already out there, so you could go to that one and find out who he is, but it's still going to take you about 10 minutes to do that. So let me just show you the process and why we have to read the Bible. Dr. Charles Stanley says, you cannot live a godly life without opening the Bible. The Bible is the source. The Bible is the word and the wisdom of God for understanding these things, for peace and happiness and help in your life. You have to open and read the Bible. So I want to encourage you to do that. J. Vern McGee said, sin will take you farther than you want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay. But when you open the Bible, it brings you back. It takes you farther from the sin and keeps you away farther and longer from the sin that you need to stay away from. And it does that by showing really the truth and wisdom of God in there. And so I want to show you that, show you how I got to this point. First, if you haven't hit the like button and a subscribe button, please do that, because it won't cost you anything. It doesn't give me any extra knowledge. It just places this video in a higher list where people can find it when they search on terms like Rapture or Second Coming or anything like that. So that would be a favor to just the whole church. Anyway, this is going to be so good, because what Isaiah is talking about and what we're referring to in this verse is Isaiah 57 verses 17 and 18. But we're going to cover the whole chapter and see how that relates exactly to the last 7 years, which I never understood even over the last 25 years when I've been looking at this verse and wondering who this man was. I've looked on the internet. Nobody names this man. Nobody has speculated on this man. They all say that this is Israel in sin, or it's Rome when Israel was in captivity. They make it allegorical, but they don't give the exact name. But this person has a name, and I will name him, and I will prove to you that it could only be this person in the Bible. And no, it's not Jesus, and no, it's not Satan. All right, so let's move on from here to how I got there. So we're going to see the verse. This is the verse. For the iniquity of his covetousness I was made wroth, and smote him, and I hid me, and was wrath. I think it's wrath, more like wrath. He went on forwardly in the way of his heart. I have seen his ways, and will heal him. I will lead him also, and restore comforts unto him, and to his mourners. He has mourners. Who's the man who has mourner? That's interesting, because that does play up into the current events and current times. You have to get there by starting out understanding the last 7 years, because that's what Isaiah 57 is about, once we figure it out in context. So you take comparisons. This chart, and you're going to go in it more heavily in the next video, it basically tells us how we can find the rapture. Interestingly enough, the rapture, or the sealing of the 144,000, and one other point, they are not found in Matthew 24, in Jesus' biggest chapter of prophecy. They are not specified in Revelation 13, which tells us exactly about the last 7 years and the two beasts that rise. Those things are not mentioned in there, but yet we know that they are in there because the 144,000 are seen in Revelation chapter 7. So we're gathering things from information that isn't there by applying correct information to those time frames, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to teach you in the next video to show you a little bit more on this. We got the rapture, you've got war on earth, you've got possible war in heaven where Satan is cast down, you've got possibly the temple being built, and possibly the Ezekiel 38 war, you've got the 144,000 being sealed, you've got in the blue line, you've got finally, after the war is over, there has to be a leader coming forth from that war, and that leader signs a 7-year covenant with Israel. And so he breaks that covenant in the middle. That's where it goes from the red to the green. Breaks that covenant in the middle. In between times, we see things that are happening on earth with the 144,000, with the horror religion that is mentioned in Revelation 17 and destroyed in Revelation 17. The 8 world empires, we see that, Revelation 17 also. And then we see the second beast rising, and we see the saints being gathered in Revelation 19, and we see the millennium coming in. Now, that's just a big overview. I just had to know all that in order to know what I'm going to show you next, and that's to compare that, mostly Matthew and some Revelation 13, to compare these two things exactly together. So excuse me for a second while I get into this information, and we'll go there. And this is a comparison, and I'm going to put these things not in this video's detail line, but in a video the next video or the video after that. But this is going to compare verse by verse, the comparison, so we know that Matthew 24 on the left-hand column is equal to Revelation 13 on the right-hand column. It doesn't say the exact same things, but it does have certain things that are the same that give us hints. So we're going to look at that, and then in the next video. And then we're also going to look at this chart that I made. Oops, that's not that. We're going to look at this chart that I made right here. You weren't supposed to see that screen. But anyway, so this screen categorizes these. The Revelation 13 is the last 7 years, the entire world prophecy. Okay, what's happening in the entire world. Whereas Matthew 24, verses 9 to 14 and 15 to 26, the two time frames of the beast, as you can see these two time frames in here, the first 3.5 years for the first beast up there, and the second 3.5 years for the second beast down here. And these things are going to coordinate that over to Isaiah 57. And then we're going to get into the verse right at the bottom that I was just explaining to you about, and that's the verse that caused me to get in here and look at this for so long, and then I memorized Isaiah 57:15 because it's just so comforting. And then I realized, why is this comforting? What is God shooting for? Well, he's shooting for what he's coming out of right here, who he wants to be, and why he is talking about this man that he both hates and is going to restore. So those are some very interesting principles for this video, and we are going to hit on those. And I could right now pull up the screen of where we're going to be. I could actually pull up the screen and show you who this man is, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to instead defer until later. And there's the verse that we'll be looking at, but we're going to be looking at the entire chapter. Well, I hope I've got you interested in this to go to the next video. They're going to be named like, short, longer, and longest, or something like that, but it would be the same name, probably Rapture date, who is this man? Short, long, and longer. And I've already done 2 out of the 3, so it shouldn't be that hard. So I hope you pay attention. Hope you come back and see the rest of this video. God bless you. Have a nice day.